could you give me what do you think about what is going on right now in Bella Santa?
The small nations of the world and the poor nations of the world are behaving with incredible bravery right now. They're bucking the power of the big nations and doing their best to get a treaty that reflects the science. Right now, it's small, poor, vulnerable nations that are standing up for science, and it's big nations that are standing up for money. And by the end of the week, money may win, you know. But for the moment, it's very good to see that people brave stand.
And do you think they will succeed to have some agreement, like to be back at 350?
We're not going to get an agreement this week that gets us back to 350. The numbers they're talking about now are in the opposite direction, you know, up around 700. But we will keep building this movement. You see the effect it's already had in changing the discussion. We'll keep building it. We'll do our best. I'm not certain we're going to win in the end.
What's that?
We're going to try as hard as we can. Thank you very much. Very much.
Hi, Mr. Hi, Mr. McKibben. I'm Hannah De Los Santos from the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco.
Oh,
Hi.
Terrific. I listen to you all the time on the radio.
No. Can you tell us, just briefly, the science around the 350? Because I don't think
350 is the most important number in the world.
Yes.
In the winter of 2008, America's foremost climatologists made it clear that any value for carbon in the atmosphere greater than 350 parts per million was not, as they put it in memorable language, was not compatible with the planet on which civilization developed or to which life on Earth is adapted. Okay? It's the boundary condition for a habitable planet. We're already past it. We're at 390 parts per million. That's why the Arctic is melting. That's why Australia is burning up. It's why we have tens of millions of acres of dead pine trees across western North America. It's why the snowpack in the Sierras is going to dwindle, on and on and on. The job becomes recognizing that climate change is not a future threat, but a present crisis, and scrambling as fast as we can to get back to the safe place.
Right. What is that range around 350? What's the margin of error?
We don't know.
Right.
We know that 350 is the absolute max. We got to go under that. We don't know how far under.
How do we get back down?
If we stop putting carbon into the atmosphere, forests and oceans will suck carbon out of the atmosphere. There are also things we can do agriculturally in the way we manage soils to increase the uptake of carbon from the atmosphere. But the key part is stop pouring more in. It's like a bathtub. There is a drain, but if you're pouring water in the top all the time, the bathtub never goes down. So the key goal is to stop burning fossil fuel.
But given that the half-life, if you could call it that, I know it's not exact,
It's
of
not,
CO2 is long. It's about
100 years.
100 years, right. So if we
It's
went
not
to
gonna
zero
happen.
carbon tomorrow,
It would take
how
the
long?
youngest people in this room would be elderly people before we're back at 350.
Right.
Landry would be old man before we got
So
back
60
to 350.
years? Something
yeah,
like
something like that. But and there'll be a lot of damage done in the meantime.
Yes.
Okay? But the scary thing is to understand that we won't always have even that opportunity.
Right.
If we put very much more carbon into the atmosphere, we'll pass the kind of tipping points like permafrost melt and methane release that mean we'll never be able to get back there, even if we stop driving every car and powering every factory.
Right. What are the three big tipping points that we're really close to?
We clearly have passed the tipping point with Arctic sea ice. High-altitude glaciers are melting with enormous speed, and that's really dangerous. We've obviously affected hydrological cycles already, and seawater is turning acid. None of these are good things.
Maybe it's too late.
It's too late to stop global warming. Mm-hmm. We're obviously going to have a lot of damage. It's not too late, we think, to keep the worst possibilities from happening. Mm-hmm. We're not fighting now for some beautiful, perfect utopia. We're fighting to keep real collapse at bay. And it's by no means certain we're going to win that fight.
Right. And what does 5 degrees by the end of the century, what does that mean?
That means hell.
For Americans specifically.
It means hell.
Right.
In California, as Secretary Chu said earlier in the year, as he said, if the temperature keeps going up, there'll be no, he said, how did he put it? There'll be no snowpack left in the Sierras. You won't be able to do agriculture in California, and I don't think you'll be able to live in the major cities either. That's how Energy Secretary Chu put it. That's pretty strong language from a politician, you know. Nothing good.
So that's 5 degrees by the end of the century, which business as usual, we have an 80% chance of hitting?
If we go business as usual, we're out of business.
Yeah. How quickly? Americans don't know this.
Nobody knows
in
for
concrete
certain.
terms, yeah.
I mean, you can't. It's not like there's not a like digital clock ticking down, but it's pretty clear that when the Arctic melts in the course of a summer, that's a bad sign. Okay, things are unraveling.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.